welcome back, and once again I'm looking at the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. And in the last video I was explaining how many questions I had, but luckily in the last video we got such straight to the point and concise answers, and I'm hoping we're going to be getting the same again. But carrying on from the last video, I am going to be looking at Johnny Depp's relationship with Disney, Amber Heard's relationship with Disney, and what's going on around Disney altogether, because we know that Disney at least used to be a dark cult industry. We don't know whether they still are. That's what I'm going to be looking at here. I also want to be looking at now. In the last video, we explored Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship and whether that was real, because obviously that leads on to whether the abuse was real, and we found the relationship was real, and so the abuse was real. And I've got that consistently, actually, that the relationship was real and the abuse was real. But that leads on, of course, to how much of this trial is real, because we know the white hats are involved, we know the dark hats are involved, and I want to look as well at her legal team, and especially her expert witness, Dr. Hughes. And I also want to be looking at coverage of this. Now, I don't know if I can squeeze all of that into one video. I'm hoping that I can. It may spill out into two. And now, obviously, as the trial has started, again, there's new information coming in, new questions being raised all the time. And I don't want to get behind, so I do want to kind of get to the bottom of this now. So fingers crossed, we can get it all sorted out. Let's get on with it. Now, as it's a lunar eclipse and all the energies are going crazy and the ascension symptoms are going crazy as well, I've got my love hoodie on, trying to imprint myself in this video with lots and lots of love. And if you want to know more about light imprinting or my star anchors, you can go along to my website, starlightworkcircle.com. The link will be below, or you can go straight to my Redbubble shop. Once again, the link will be below. The link is also on my website as well. If you need a little bit of love imprinting, light imprinting with love, you can find out more there. And also, I do want to say before we get on, I'm assuming that everybody coming to this video is a seasoned truther, so you know all the terms that I've been using. I know when I first started to watch truther videos, I was absolutely confused with what all these different terms were. Dark hats, white hats, deep state, dark cult, on and on and on and on and on. If you're a little bit confused about some of the terms or what they mean, do leave a comment below. I'll either explain them myself, or I will possibly do some more videos about that to explain more about what it is that I'm talking about here. However, I'm going to assume that you're all seasoned truthers, you're all seasoned light workers, you know what I'm talking about, you know who the black hats are, you know who the white hats are, you know who the deep state dark cult are, you know what's been going on with the substance that's, I'm not going to say the word, it's to do with adrenaline and it ends in chrome. So let's get down to business, shall we? Now, what was the first question? It was about Disney, wasn't it? Let's generally have a look. Before we do anything else, let's have a look around Disney. We know they're dark cult. We know Disney are dark cult. There's enough videos out there about it. So let's start off by asking around Disney. We know they were deep cult, but have they been taken over? Let's have a look. Now, even if you don't read cards, you can see here, this is a very positive reading. There's no deep state dark cult here at all, not even in the past. So I would suggest that they have been taken over for quite a while. I'm not saying that there's no kickback. I'm not saying that there are no individuals left at Disney who think the way that they used to think, but it's all about, even in the past, we've got the white hats here, we've got new beginnings, new starts. They've clearly realised that it's over. They've got no chance. Give in or give up. There may be a little bit of a struggle left, but it's so minimum, it's hardly even noticeable here. Oh, from what I'm seeing here, Disney absolutely has been taken over. I get that they didn't even mention the dark cult here because they know, I know, and probably know you know, that Disney were absolutely, without any question, deep cult. So that wasn't even a question to ask. We know that. So yeah, I'm getting absolutely Disney has and for quite a while as well. I know for a couple of years now the white hats have been in taking over Hollywood. I would assume that's been going on as long, although we know obviously not all TV has been taken over. There's a particular, there was a program, Saturday Night Live, which I understand is NBC, that did a skit on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and they were absolutely trashing Johnny and sticking up for Amber. So I do want to ask about that, but not right here. There was obviously an issue with Johnny Depp and Disney back when these accusations were made. I do want to have a little bit of a look at that, because I do want to know whether this was just oh, he's too troublesome, or oh, he's got himself a bad rep, we're just going to drop him now, as the dark cult do, or whether there was something else behind it. Let's have a little bit of a look around the situation with Johnny and Disney, particularly around the time that they dropped him, which I'm assuming is 6 years ago when Amber brought out the accusations. If I'm wrong about that, please leave a comment below. I'm not too sure of the timeline. I tried to look into it, but it was just too confusing. So let's have a look at that, shall we? Johnny Depp and Disney, and when they dropped him and why they dropped him. And woo! Are we getting the independence card coming out here? I don't know whether that implies his independence or their independence. I'm not sure. Let's have a deeper dive on it with full spread. Now, I wasn't expecting this at all. This is a little bit confusing to me, so we'll have to work through it. I guess I was expecting it's still at that point to be dark cult, because 6 years ago, I'm not sure that it still was. I wonder if this happened during the flurry. We've got that independence card again in the present situation. I wonder whether the Pirates of the Caribbean actually was a dark cult operation. I wonder from this whether the Pirates of the Caribbean was a dark cult inspired film. I've never actually watched it, so I wouldn't know even what it's about. If you can weigh in with this and give your opinion, or ask any questions you want me to ask about it, please do in the comments below. I'd love to know your take on this. But there's a lot here about fresh starts, walking away, independence, looking back, looking forward. There's obviously a little bit of issue going on here. but I get that a lot of this was just ending. I don't know whether it's just a coincidence that they dropped him at this particular point. But it doesn't seem to be a dark cat. Or maybe it was just a decision that they made independently. We're walking away from this. But I get it all happened at the same time. There's too much fresh starts and wiping the slate clean at the time. I wonder whether the company, Disney, was actually in turmoil at this particular point. I'm not saying it was completely taken over, but it certainly seems to be having its own issues at that particular point. Right, let's have a little bit of a look at Amber Heard and Disney, because I understand she's been, well, this opens up another can of worms, doesn't it? She recently, after this trial has been, or during this trial, has been dropped by Disney. I also get that a lot of stars have been sticking up for her. And I could go down a whole rabbit hole looking into these other stars, couldn't I? Whether it's a black hat, white hat up, or whether these are genuine people sticking up for Johnny Depp. I can never say his name. Mamau, is it? Mamau. And then there's the model as well, that Kate Moss. That's her name, Kate Moss as well. Let's just have a brief look at Amber Heard and Disney, and specifically her being dropped from this film. This speaks a lot about the coming of judgment, not just through the judgment card. I get that anybody who has ever worked at Disney knows that this is coming judgment card, justice card. And there's a struggle about the lies and deceit as well. I guess on top of all of the struggles they've got going on and the falling apart of everything they've perhaps ever known, even though obviously from what we read it was infiltrated quite a while ago, even 6 years ago, which I wasn't expecting at all. This woman, or whatever it is now they're dealing with, this image of this woman is just reacting to her emotions, is just too much of a liability. They just can't carry it right now. It's obviously the choice that they need to make. They could have made a different choice. There's obviously going to be a lot of infighting about this. There's a lot of work still to be done. I get that they can't back down from the fact that they would have to do this to make some kind of public image. They did it to Johnny Depp. Now they have to do it to Amber Heard. If this is anything, this is an attempted cover-up. Although obviously that's going to backfire as well, isn't it? I mean, cover up in terms of, well, let's just get rid of her before she exposes anything else. Although we know they know that that's not even really her. But there are surely secrets out there that they don't want exposed, that the white hats who are in charge do want exposed. But we're looking at the bad elements that are clearly still there. Yeah. Like I said, I don't think I don't think Disney's been completely taken over. There are still edges. Oh, no wonder we were getting so confused. This is so complicated. I'm so glad I'm not in all of this. I wouldn't know whether I was coming or going. There's a lot of fear around this. I get that they feel they've got to go with this. They don't really care about Amber Heard. They don't really care about anybody. except for themselves. That's what the dark state deep cult or our evil overlords are, isn't it? Just out of proportion egos, all about the self. And that's how they can hurt people and abuse people in this way and use people. But what else were we expecting? Dysfunction and confusion, I guess. What else could we expect? Right. Looking at the time, I think we're doing okay for time right now. So I'm just gonna pile on. If we end up in another video, dropped a card. If we end up in another video, we end up in another video, but I'm going to just carry on. Right, next I want to look at how much of this trial is actually real and how much of it is fake. Now, I know that Johnny Depp brought this trial genuinely, but we know he was encouraged by the white hats, and we know also that the black hats have jumped on board at some point as well. There are all sorts of questions coming up about her legal team, her expert witness. There's obviously the coverage, but let's start once again. Too many questions. Let's reel it back. Let's start with the basics. Is how much of this trial is actually real? Now, what concerns me is this card here. This is about lies and deceit, and this is in the past position. Changing views and letting go of our judgment as well. And this is in the past position. So this is in the past position of the trial. We know that Johnny genuinely bought this trial, but he may not have done so unless the white hats had asked him to do so. And they must have reassured him that he would get, it wouldn't be a fair hearing, obviously, because it's going to go the way the white hats want it to go. But it would be a fair hearing to him in terms of what he's been through and what he's suffered. Let's put it like that. This certainly indicates that whatever the purpose was when they started this trial, it's been changed. It's been walked away from. This card is all about helping other people with your pain, with your suffering. And this is about an understanding or an awakening. So this is about, it may have started out by looking at abuse and abuse victims, because obviously abuse and abuse victims are a huge part of awakening the population to what's been going on, because obviously the deep state dark cult practice abuse. They practice SRA. I have to remember, because obviously I don't memorise these things that they do. I try and forget about them as much as possible, but obviously it's coming up. So it may well have been about awakening people to abuse. And I'm not saying that that's not what it was about, but obviously at some point it was, because we know that nobody expected this case to get the publicity that it got. So they may have gone into this with a different agenda than the one it's turned out. We know the universe works in mysterious ways. We know we're in the Masonic photon belt. We know we are in galactic alignment. We are in awakening already. We know the universe has got its say in this. And it's very likely that everything the dark state deep cult do now is going to be turned on its head and used to our advantage, because that's the way the universe works, isn't it? This is about not seeing things properly and justice coming out. So I get that this was a realization. Hold on. People are paying attention to this. People's heartstrings have been plucked with this. And quite rightly so, mine has. And like I said at the very beginning, I'm not interested in Hollywood or these Hollywood things at all. But I certainly got drawn straight into it. And how justice and independence could be played out here. Now this is interesting. From this, I'm certainly getting that the worst is over with this trial. In terms of with the struggle moving forward, I think they've leaped on this. I think they're going to throw everything they can at this, and quite rightly so. This is what I'm seeing is situation after situation after situation, question after question after question after question. Why is her legal team so open to criticism, let's say? Why is Dr. Hughes so clearly a paid employee of the dark court? Why is so much media coverage in Amber Heard's favour? Is Amber Heard really such a bad actress? She couldn't have done any better than that on the stage. Said it again. I said stage again. Sorry, that was a Freudian slip. On the stand. Is that really the best that she could have done? I get not. But this, of course, leads me down yet another rabbit hole of another series of questions. Time check. We're not doing too bad. I could probably fit in another question, but if I ask one question, I'm going to be starting a new topic, and who knows how long we'll be on that topic. So let me have a look at my questions. Okay, let's just ask, because we're asking about the trial. The trial, it seems, is, from what they're saying, not real to an extent. It is a tool to an extent. Let's ask the question, what do the black hats expect to get out of this? Because we know they're involved. Okay, I'll be brutally frank about what this says. This is a toddler having a tantrum. They're out of time, they're overwhelmed, they're out of resources, they're having withdrawal symptoms from their party substance. The chrome that begins with adrena, put those two words together and swap them around if you don't know what I mean. They're arguing with it, they're fighting against it, they're trying to do all they can to just buy a little bit of time before they walk away. They know this is closing out, they know exactly what's going to happen. They have done for a very, very long time, which is why they did the whole Rona thing and the that thing, to just try and get a foothold. This to me is the poop on the bed. It's the final defiance. I'm going to have the last word. I'm going to have the last temper tantrum here. I don't even believe they think anything they do now is going to have any impact at all. I really don't. I really don't believe that. Well, as always, I did have two more questions in my head. Now I've asked that question, those questions have completely gone out of my head. I do, in the next video, want to be having a look at her legal team, although that question probably did just answer that question. I do want to go on and have a look at those because there's so much interesting stuff. I'm pretty sure we've got another one video at least, no matter any other stuff that comes out at all. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you found it useful. I hope you're going to join me in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye.